Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of From Impossible to Inevitable. I am your host, Megan Bauer. I am so grateful that you have pushed play today and that you are joining me once again. Thank you for your shares, your comments, your likes. If this is your first time tuning into my podcast, welcome. Please know that if you are listening on a podcast platform, there is a YouTube version if you would like to watch all of my hand gestures. And there's a link to that in the show notes if you're interested. So today I want to talk to you about the idea of small steps. I have a mentor who one of the things that she says all the time is just do one thing a day. Commit to one thing a day that gives you progress on your goal. She is generally talking to creatives, that's her audience. And so a lot of times that one thing a day is, maybe sketching for 5 minutes, or maybe it's, doing research on something, or gathering inspiration for something, or expanding your skill set in some way. And she talks about the power of one thing a day. And like I said, sometimes that's as little as 5 minutes, and sometimes that goes for hours. Maybe the goal of the one thing a day actually expands and you do 5 or 10 things that day that move you towards your goal. But the point is to not miss a single day in moving towards your goal in some way, some manner, however small. Like the size of the task doesn't matter. It's the forward movement, because at some point you'll get past these small tasks and your brain will realize that this is actually a priority for you, and you'll spend more and more time and do bigger and bigger tasks that move you towards your goal even faster. I love this story that one of my brother-in-laws has told me once. This was a long time ago, many years ago, that he was first married and he was starting to pack on the newlywed pounds, and he was like, no, I cannot do this. I will not do this. And so he made the goal of just 10 push-ups every day. That's it. Like, he's just going to do 10 push-ups in the morning and not change anything else. He wasn't making this overhaul of his habits. He wasn't going to the gym. He wasn't changing his diet drastically. His goal was 10 push-ups every day in the morning. I believe it was in the morning. I could be making that part up, but it was 10 push-ups a day. Okay? That's where he started. And like I said, this was years ago. Now, this same brother-in-law, he is running those 50-mile marathons. He is going for it. He is super fit, super healthy. We all traveled down to my in-laws for Easter, and while we were there, he made the time to go on a run. And maybe, and that didn't happen overnight, that didn't happen. He didn't decide one day, I'm going to run a 50-miler, and so now I need to overhaul all of these things. It started with the 10 push-ups every single day. And now he's in great shape, obviously. And, he's doing really great things, and it's pretty inspiring, But it started with the 10 push-ups every day. And that's how things start. Oftentimes when we want to build a new habit, we want to build a new skill, we want to change this or change that, we get so overwhelmed by the enormity of the task that we don't even want to start. We don't want to do we don't know how to eat the whole elephant, so we don't even cut off a piece, right? We think about all of the time that this is going to take, and we decide up front that we don't have that time, even though we have the time for the little tasks that lead up to the whole thing. We have time to cut off a little piece that will eventually turn into the leg of the elephant, or the whole, I don't know, this got weird with the whole eating of an elephant, but you know what I mean. Like, we eventually, through chopping off little bits, we make a substantial difference. And this brother-in-law of mine, he did the 10 push-ups a day for a long time, and then that turned into running 5Ks, and that turned into running 10Ks, and that turned into running half marathons, and now 50 milers. And it gradually built up. And now the time that it takes for him to train for these 50 milers are incredible. However, he started with, okay, I'm going to take however long it takes to run a 5K or train for a 5K. I'm going to make that a priority for this amount of time, for these months. And then since that time was already carved out, he added a little bit more time to train for a 10K. And you add a little bit more time to train for a half marathon. And you just add on and add on and add on until it's just part of who you are. Until you go on vacation and going for a run is just part of who you are. It's just part of what you do now. That's how it's built up. If you want to start your fitness journey, you can start with 10 push-ups a day. You can start with whatever feels like a duh, I can so accomplish this every day. Start there. Start there and commit to doing it every single day. And know that it will build up to whatever your real goal is. But you have to chunk it down. You have to start with those little bites in order to get there, because otherwise, especially if this is something that you've been wanting for a while, if you've been wanting to improve a skill, if you have been wanting to complete a massive project, write a novel, read more, do something big and amazing, the reason you haven't done it yet, here you go, the reason you haven't done it yet is because it feels too big, it feels too overwhelming, and it feels like it's going to take too much time that you just don't have. Okay, I don't have 12 hours a day to work on a novel. Yeah, that's a thing. But can you make a goal of writing for 10 minutes a day, even if it's not on the novel, even if it's just writing, just simply the act of sitting down to write for 10 minutes a day? Set a timer and just do it. Get in the habit, get in the cadence, that 10 minutes. When that timer goes off and you're like, well, I still don't have anywhere to be for another 20. So then you keep writing for another 20 minutes. And that's just 30 minutes. And then as you make that time a priority, you can add on more and more time. That creates a bigger, more significant difference in the long run. You start with these pockets of time, and somehow those pockets expand. You figure out how to be more effective or more efficient in other ways, or you realize that some of these things that felt like they were super important and that needed your attention right then actually aren't that important and don't need your attention right then, and you can devote that time to what's actually important. Yes? Yes. So I've mentioned this before, but this is one of the things that continually has an impact in my life, because I am I'm a piler. I pile things up. I don't know what to do with it in the moment. I feel like I can't make a decision right now. So I'll just pile these papers on top of those papers. And then when I need that space, I'll take that pile and I'll put it on something else, and I just pile stuff up. That's just part of my charm. This is something I'm actively working on. Like, this is something I'm really changing in my life. And the way that I have come up with to do that is every day I pick up 10 things and I write them down so that it's like, okay, I'm deliberately doing these things. Because if I don't write them down, I can just be like, yeah, I think that was 10 minutes or 10 things, and I don't know, so sure. So I write them down so that it's deliberate. And sometimes I pick up more than 10 things. Actually, a lot of times I pick up more than 10 things. After I get to 10, I keep going. So I've got some momentum and I'm already doing it. And I make decisions about those things. I put them away, I throw them away, I give them away. Whatever it is, whatever pile they need to go in, and not pile, like whatever category, because they don't go in a pile, they go away. They get put away or thrown away, whatever is appropriate. But this is really manageable for me. 10 things, not 10 minutes. 10 things. Sometimes it takes 10 minutes, sometimes it doesn't. And some days it's like, all right, I'm going to put away the sweater that's been out all weekend. I'm going to go ahead and put that in my closet, or I'm going to, pick up this mug that's been out for a couple of days and I'm going to put that in the dishwasher. And whatever it is, sometimes it's those easy things, and sometimes it's things that have been out for months, have been in a pile for months, that I'm finally getting to, because the more I do it, the less like easy things, like quick wins there are for me to get. I've already gotten all the low-hanging fruit, so now I actually have to make decisions about things that I feel like I haven't been able to make decisions about, or I feel like I haven't given myself the time, or I haven't trusted myself enough. I've talked a lot about how my piling habit has a lot to do with trust in myself to be able to make a good decision about where that thing goes, if I even keep that thing, if I should throw that thing away, whatever. Work in progress, right? However, there are pockets of time that I can use to do these things. And there are pockets of time for you to create whatever it is that you want to create, for you to create the habits that you want to create, for you to start on the things, make the changes that you want to create. There are little pockets of time, and you just have to choose to use those pockets of time appropriately for the thing that you want to create. So you can start simple. Start as simple as you have to. Start as simple as feels good and duh. If it doesn't feel like duh, I can do this, you haven't started simple enough. Especially, I truly encourage you, if this is something that you've wanted to do, create, start, change, if this is something that you've wanted for a long time, for months, years, this isn't a new idea. It's something that has been in your brain of like, oh, I want to do this, or I really want to change this behavior, or whatever. Start as small and as simple as you can. Maybe it's not 10 push-ups, maybe it's 1. Maybe it's just getting yourself on the ground to do 1 push-up. And while you're down there, maybe you do 10. Maybe you're like, okay, well, I committed to the 1, so now I'm going to do 9 more because I'm just that awesome. But keep your commitment at 1. Don't be like, yeah, I did 10 yesterday, so today I'm going to do 20. Don't do that to yourself. Especially if this is something you've wanted for a long time. Keep it simple and let the progression progress naturally. Because as it becomes way too easy, You will naturally challenge yourself. You'll be like, okay, I have accomplished these 10 push-ups for months. I have been so good at this that now I'm going to commit to 15. Because now, like 10 push-ups, that's just so easy. Duh, I can do 15 now. And let it just progress naturally. And it will add up to massive change. Don't discount the small steps. Don't discount the small daily effort, because it adds up. And yeah, you will make more progress faster if you do more, if you challenge yourself more. Yes, that is true. However, if you quit because it's still too overwhelming, because it's still too much, because you're still demanding too much of yourself, if you quit, then actually you're making less progress. If you can stick to something that is small enough, then you will get exponential returns as you continue on. As you make it so easy that quitting just isn't even a thing on your radar, because like this is just an easy thing. And so you just keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going. And honestly, especially if this is something that you've been wanting for a long time, resisting the pull of just overhauling everything and committing to some massive commitment. If you can resist that pull, because you know logically the more I do, the more I will get done faster. If you can resist that pull and keep to small daily consistency, you will go so much farther. So much farther. Because the reason overhauls haven't worked, the reason why like big, massive demands on your time haven't worked in the past is because it's too much. It becomes unsustainable. And then you quit, and then you feel bad about quitting again because you want it so badly, but you're not making it sustainable. And if you make it sustainable, then you can continue and make some real massive change in the long run. It's a long game. If it was a short game, you would have won already, right? Because we can all do something, we can all commit to something massive for a short period of time. We can say, yeah, I'm going to write for 5 hours a day, every day. You might be able to make that happen for a couple of days. But then something's going to happen. And you'll fall back into your regular routine. You'll fall back into your regular systems. And then what? Then you're right back to where you were. Except for now you feel bad that you didn't keep to your commitment. Make a commitment that you can keep that feels so duh that you just keep going. Scale it back as far as you need to and keep going. All right. That's what I have for you today. I hope that you take whatever big thing you want to do, accomplish, a change in your life, whatever it is. I hope that you scale that down to something that you can do every day. What's your one thing a day? What's your pick up 10 things a day? What is that for you? What just feels so simple and so easy that you can't not do it? There's something. everything can be scaled back. And you can make that commitment to yourself to do those little things that will actually, in the long run, make significant progress, meaningful progress. I wish you all the best on all the sparkly things. Until next week, I send you my love.